Hey guys, welcome to the July topic this month, A Day in Their Shoes. We're here with Chad, who is the founder and the brain behind Come and Live. And so we're going to sit down and have a conversation with Chad and kind of find out why he is who he is and why he does what he does. And so, Chad, I just want to start off with asking you, what kind of inspiration spurred you to start Come and Live, and kind of where did it come from?
Well, definitely Jesus' words to make disciples of all men was probably the first place of going, all right, I think there's something way deeper here than I really even understand, and it's the Great Commission. And so trying to understand how to live out the Great Commission with the gifts God's given me. What does that look like? Where He's placed me, where I've been, how do I go about reaching people's hearts for Jesus?
Yeah.
And it just was like, well, I love music. That's where God's gifted me. That's an area where He's used me. So what would it look like if instead of doing music with all these strings attached on a business side, if we just said, you know what, man, forget it. Let's just focus on the heart of Christ and who He is and His character and His person. And let's focus on training artists to be true men of God. So let's help lay the right foundation for them, so that if God desires to take it any further, that level is set.
Yeah.
So and beyond that, John Piper's book "Don't Waste Your Life" was a huge inspiration. Shane Claiborne's book "The Irresistible Revolution" was really a special read, and I guess just the deep prompting of the Spirit to just a dissatisfaction with where I was. I felt conflicted, and I felt like I'm building an empire that is worthless, because the empire I'm building is one of cool bands, selling records, doing quasi good things, but it's not truly moving people towards God. It's at least not on the level that I feel God desires people to come towards Him. He desires to go towards them.
For some of the people who might not be familiar with Come and Live, kind of give us a couple minute explanation of what it is and how it's different from other record labels.
Sure. Well, Come and Live is we would say that our mission is to establish God's kingdom within a community of musicians. So I never really consider us a label, because we don't really we do kind of look like a label from a perception perspective, but we don't operate as a label. We really just come alongside artists and then help them walk a faith walk in Christ, and help maintain their calling. So we go, all right, here, God's called you to an enormous purpose of which He wants to reveal His kindness to the world. So if you're actually going to have a chance to do that, you need people holding you accountable, that are encouraging you, that are equipping you, that are walking through life with you, regardless of whether they're getting a paycheck or not. So it's just let's sever the whole you pay us, we pay you. Let's just be your brothers. Let's just be your community. Let us be your church outside of a local church that doesn't really know how to handle the unique needs of an artist. But the dream behind Come and Live is that God would awaken a generation. I mean, this is a recurring theme that keeps coming up, that God, would you breathe life into a generation that is not committed to you, and would you use people like us to be committed to you, so that we would do the things that you did. We would just live it out. So
great. Talk to me a little bit about the transition from more of the business side to what you're doing now. Was there a lot of personal transformation that God took you through to kind of make such a big jump?
I definitely was not ready for the jump financially, and it's taken a huge toll on my faith, because it's really easy, I think, to understand God and His kindness and His grace and His mercy and His love when everything's going really well. It's a little harder when things are not going so well. And so I've just had 18 months of ups and downs, and yet through them all, I see that God has sustained me, and He's placed within me a desire to just go, man, I just want to worship Jesus. So that's it. And yeah, God spoke to me very clearly to go and make disciples of men, these kind of men. And I was actually in Minneapolis when God gave me the dream of this. I was at a Desiring God conference. It was a conference on worship, and really my heart is worship. Like I don't want to produce music just because it's cool music. I want there to be the heart of God in it, and that's easier said than done sometimes, but it is very much possible.
Awesome.
So it's crazy. Yeah, man, it was a Saturday morning, I think September 18th, 2008.
Yeah.
And
It's the day after my birthday.
yeah, and it was right around there, the 15th somewhere, 18th. But man, I just felt God say, you know what I called you to do.
Yeah.
I called you to make disciples of men. Go do it. And I was at that point going, what does that mean, and how do I do it? And that's where I felt God just say, well, stop making it about all the things that the music, because you asked what was different about Come and Live. Well, unlike a traditional record label, to boil it down as simply as I can, they exist to create a profit. It's not necessarily wrong, it's not necessarily evil, I just don't think it's as good as existing to help people know Jesus. And so people are many times required to figure out how to do both. How do we make and turn a profit, and how do we also encourage and equip the bride? I felt like God was saying, forget trying to figure out how to do the profit part, at least for now, and just pursue me and trust that I will take care of you on that side. So,
cool.
Yeah.
And lastly, just how can people get involved? How can people support you or your ministry?
Sure. Very easily, they can go to comeandlive.com and they could start downloading music. They can listen to it first, make sure they like it. It's like, why clutter your iTunes if you don't like it? So listen first. If you like it, then just download it. Everything's free. God's allowed us to give away a lot of songs, and beyond that, you can be praying. You can join us on Fast Friday, which every Friday we do a time of prayer and fasting, and we just send out an email that's just people's needs that come in. So we pray and fast over those needs. Sometimes we'll go out into our community and just find opportunities for us to love on people. You can donate financially. You can go on our website and do that. A little button, click there, and if God leads you in that way, that's great. You can spread the word to friends. Like, hey man, let me tell you about this thing. Like, I love this band, and their music's free. It's like, how easy is that? Like, it's like, I love this band, but it's like, well, you're gonna have a really hard time finding it, or it's like $10, and it's just like, hey man, I found this band I think you would like. Here's the link. Just go down, go get it. So yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, man, all any of that or all the above would be beautiful.
Awesome. Thanks for talking with us,
Dude,
Chad.
thank you, man. It's great. Blessings.